podcast, where we discuss everyday issues from a mental health perspective. We are your hosts, Dr. Rashonda Strickland,
Dr. LaFonya Jones-Hines,
and Dr. Michelle Wall. Now, don't get it twisted. We're not going to be your stereotypical therapists.
What we will be is informative, down to earth, a little spicy, and vulnerable.
All right, interns, turn up your volume, grab your pen and paper. It's supervision time. As a reminder, this podcast is not meant to take the place of a relationship with a licensed mental health professional.
Welcome back to session 79, This Bra.
Hey! Y'all know I love these and the movie breakdowns. My faves.
Dr. Strickland, your mic is blocking you.
Oh man, y'all can't see my beautiful face. The better.
Mama Wanda, is that better?
A little bit. All right. I think now I can. Okay. Sure. Did you not have it on?
No, it was on. I just...
Can y'all hear us? We coming in good? No issues?
Okay, she said it's better. Dante said it's better.
Okay.
Okay, can y'all hear us? We're gonna give everybody a few more minutes to come on in. Because y'all was coming in there when we was practicing.
Okay, we were trying to get it right for y'all, and it was like, oh no, we want to see.
Right.
Like, no, y'all can't get the behind the scenes stuff. Y'all supposed to get us when we all nice and ready.
Right.
Well, we hope y'all doing good this evening. I'm sure Dr. Wall over here has our libations.
Yeah, I do. She's about to get them ready.
Y'all know I'm ready for them. Get this evening rolling. And what do we have this evening, Dr. Wall?
Let me get it.
Oh, yes. What we starting with?
We are starting with
Stella Rosa.
Come on,
Imperial.
Stella.
You know, because this is the last one of the season.
Okay.
So we got to, do it up. We can't do regular Stella Rosa.
Come on, libations.
Yes, I'm so excited. All right, so what we kind of thought we might start off with for you guys. Let me get comfortable.
I know. But wait, I gotta tell them where I got my hat from.
Oh, that's right.
All right, so y'all know my thing is hats. So I got this beautiful hat. Let me take it off. My hair is done, so I can take my hat off. I got this beautiful print hat with the little gold and black chain around it. And actually, it's not from a secret store. Y'all probably seen this store in the mall, so I don't even feel no kind of way. I got it from the Buckle in the mall.
Come on, Buckle. Okay, that ain't bad.
It's just called Buckle, not the Buckle. It's just called Buckle in the mall. And actually, you would have thought that this hat was like $100,000 because the Buckle is expensive.
Yeah,
but it was only $40.
That ain't bad.
I know. I was so surprised.
Yeah, I can get down with that. I'm a little sad they can't see our whole fits.
I know.
Because we really are, we got all black on at the top, but we are really representing.
Dressed in all black like the old man.
Yeah.
Oh. Did y'all hear that? We popping champagne out here, or Moscato. But I wish you could see the whole fit because I'm super excited. I was able to find me a long skirt, and for
y'all my shoes.
Yes, for y'all that don't know, and most of the interns out there do know, I'm tall. I'm medium tall. Again, I'm not tall. So, medium tall. I'm only 5'8.5", so that's not like 6'1", nothing like that. So I'm like medium tall. So I was super excited to be able to find this skirt that goes all the way to the floor, which is super rare for me. But since we're sitting down, y'all can't see it. Y'all might be able to see my legs down there a little bit. But I was able to get it from one of Dr. Jones's and Dr. Wall secret stores. So I'm a little excited that they let me in, and I was able to finally get the secret decoder ring and get in there.
And the next, because I got my, if you saw me when we first started, I was, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I was walking and you could see my shirt. And so we got it from a place called Sweet and Chic.
Mm-hmm.
In
DeSoto, Texas. DeSoto, Texas.
Yes, it's in DeSoto, Texas. And you spell and out. No, it's not the little symbol.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we got our little Moscato. So we're going to start off with a little toast to begin our last
said medium tall.
We're going to start off with a little toast just to, begin our last disbroad. This is not, and our last session for the year.
Yes.
It has been another fantastic roller coaster.
My God.
Yeah. Something like that.
And we promise that this one will be a bang, because y'all know I be ready to cuss and talk about everything. So I hope my mom and stepdad are prepared for today. I love y'all. And my auntie, you too. Anybody else got anything they want to say? Or just me?
To us, having a better next year, 2022.
Mm-hmm.
To all the good things we got in store, all the branding we're working on, all the deals we hoping are coming our way, and all the great topics that we already we got bubbling up like the bubbly.
Yes. And clink, 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 clink. Oh, clink to y'all too. Clink,
Oh,
yeah.
clink.
Clink. All right, so 2021. I was thinking about what in the world could we talk about. We were discussing a little bit earlier on what topics are ones of relevance, fun, and all that stuff. And the first thing that came to my mind was I was watching this video and it was talking about all of the crazy things that have happened in 2021. And those that y'all are active on social media, y'all ever seen them little calendars where each month it's like a different meme of all the different things that have happened in the year? And I was like, man, we started off in January, like out the gate.
Yeah, we didn't even get a break.
Like we turned in our 7-day trial immediately.
Yes.
It was 6 days.
6 days. We canceled that membership immediately. And I was like, this year, okay, so this is really going to start off live. And this year has not disappointed when it comes to craziness, awkwardness, and I don't even know what other word to add there.
Frustration.
Both of those. So when y'all think about 2021, like what has been one of the most, I don't want to say shocking, but like the thing that's been burned into your memory the most about this year?
That we still in this goddamn pandemic.
Oh.
Like,
yeah, Omarion out here now.
Okay.
Also known as Omicron.
Yes. I'm like, how in the world is people still getting sick and dying from this? Like this, how is this happening still?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They don't think fat meat is greasy. That's part of the problem.
That is true. That is very true.
Yeah.
I guess my thing is, at some point, I think we're going to have to figure out, this is not going to go away. This is now a part of our everyday kind of life.
Yeah.
And will likely have seasons, kind of like the
Like
flu
the flu?
does.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to definitely say that the experience of COVID is like the flu, but I think it will have waves of peaks and valleys of, more people will get sick at certain times of the year versus others.
Yeah.
So, and we all know that wintertime is sick time. What is this? December? So December through March, it's going to be the high time.
Mm-hmm.
And, we just got to learn to, I don't know, do we need to wear masks forever? Do we need to just wear masks during the cold season? I don't know. But something's going to have to give.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm here for it. I think I've had a new person pass away every week for the past 6 weeks.
Oh my.
So I'm over it.
Oh, yeah.
I need everybody to hold on to their spirits and their bodies.
Yeah.
Keep them joined together and get somewhere and sit down.
I agree.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was somber, but I get why you said it. Because it's real. You know, and that's the main thing, that everybody's going through something significant. And if I had to say, I think that's another thing this year has kind of brought to the surface, is the need for family, the need for, you know, having people close to you and not like taking that for granted. Because it really is some one day you're here, next day you're gone kind of stuff, you know?
Yeah, and I think another thing that is still shocking to me that's still going on is people still not getting paid enough to go back to work. I mean, I know some are, but just the mere fact that some people are still don't get it, that minimum wage got to be more than $7.
Yes, that is true.
I mean, if you're going to make ends meet and be able to afford everything.
Yeah.
Right. And what I don't understand is, why did it take a pandemic for us to understand that? Like, because every year, every month, something increases in the economy. So as things increase, that means people's pay should have been increasing. Otherwise, we wouldn't have been in this crisis, economic crisis like this, if they would have been increasing the salaries and minimum wage as they should have been.
Oh yeah, because y'all know Dollar Tree is now a $1.25 tree. And I was like, wait, hold on. We count on Dollar Tree to be Dollar Tree. That's why your name is Dollar Tree. But now y'all a $1.25 tree, and my immediate thought was, okay, well, did y'all raise y'all's employees' pay up 25%? So you have a 25% increase on your your
products.
Goods. Yeah. And I highly doubt that they did.
Dante said $1.50.
$1.50
in Tennessee? My goodness.
Oh man, I didn't realize that.
No me gusta.
Well, I know I saw $1.25. So if they went up to $1.50, this is what happened when Redbox had went from $1 to $1.20. I was real mad. I had boycotted Redbox for a long time because I was like, how dare you? That's why I stopped going to Blockbuster, because it was $1 and I could just turn it the next night. And then they went up to like $1.25, and now it's like $2 to rent a movie from Redbox. But I just Netflix now.
But see, that's what I'm talking about. See, everything is increasing except for our salaries. Because even as mental health providers, the insurance companies, if you're an insurance-based company, the insurance companies are not paying us more. But our insurance bill, our insurance is going up. So why is it going up if they're not paying the providers more?
Yeah. I do think that while I believe COVID is a very devastating thing that, you know, we're all experiencing, it has brought so much to the surface, and I really do feel like not just the U.S., but the world is at the, you know, kind of cliff's edge of some changes, and that it's almost like you don't have a choice. The world will have to start operating differently because people are just tired, and they're not accepting mediocrity anymore. They're not accepting low balls anymore. And, you know, everyone everywhere is having to step up, which I think that's a great thing.
I was going to say, good for us for stepping up and speaking up for ourselves and making sure and although we will probably never be paid what we're worth, we're still asking for something more than what we were getting paid.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely. Any other memorable moments of 21?
And interns, y'all jump on in and tell us what's memorable for you all for 21.
The good, the bad, and the ugly. Because it's all there. You know, every year is filled with all of that.
Yeah.
There have been moments that were exciting and funny, and then of course there have been moments that were, you know, sad and devastating, because that's the experience of life. So we definitely want to hear all of it. If we were going to go down the line, I would say the next memorable thing for me was the lady that had the Gorilla Glue in her hair.
And y'all know she in the news again, talking about her hair is coming out because she dyed it.
Yes.
Oh my God.
She needs to sit down.
She needs to go to a beauty salon.
Yeah, I was
Man,
like,
you don't know what you're doing.
Said something about student loan.
Student loan still ain't. Steve.
Yes. See, okay, thank you for that segue, because
that's between Biden and God.
Well, he said, it's above me now.
Yes, I have already prayed for it, and that is, I have cast all of my cares unto God.
Because I was like, they know ain't nobody about to pay these student loans in January. They know it.
2
They about
years.
to have the record number of forbearance letters and deferments. Everybody going back to take one class.
Yes.
So then all of a sudden,
I'm going to be taking some pottery classes. I'm going to be a pottery person. I don't know what they're called.
okay, he's talking about, I'm not going to renew the student loan deferment anymore 2 weeks later. I wish I had one of them SpongeBob memes that was like 2 weeks later. So we're going to push this thing back to May, y'all, because we know y'all not about to pay. Exactly.
And in May, we not going to pay. So you may as well just go ahead and cancel it.
I don't know what to tell you.
Again,
I ain't got it.
no.
First of all, my student loans have been sold to another company. I don't know the name because I'm not reading the emails.
I've gotten text messages, emails, and voicemails saying, "Oh, Rashonda, your student loans will become due after January 31st." And I'm like, "Whew, okay. Thank you for the reminder." And then it was like, "Oh, they pushed it back to May."
Mm-hmm.
See,
Just pay them.
Right.
Not me, but government. Just pay them.
Right.
yes,
Because I ain't got it. Y'all got to go see Texas Oncology for my cut.
yes.
Y'all got to come see 345 West Parkway for my
That part.
Okay.
And Dante, it was such a pleasure meeting you too, sir. He said, witnessing and meeting great people in Vegas. Thanks again for the invitation. He's speaking of my nuptials. You know, we
Yes.
got married in March, and Dante the Great was there.
Yes, my
Yes,
platonic
yes.
soulmate. He was my +1.
Stop doing that. It was great though.
He fit right on
And
in.
make like a glove.
Right.
He really did.
And now we won't ever let him go.
Never.
He's
No.
invited to everything.
We love you, Dante.
Yes.
Cause when support, your level of support, sir, is,
Oh my God.
is almost unmatched.
Yes.
Like,
we will
It's
post something
humbling.
and immediately he's commented.
yes, it's humbling.
We
and
love you,
very
Dante.
exciting. So yes, we love you, Dante. We do more than appreciate your support in this process. As well as that, y'all go check out his podcast, Drinking Partners.
Yes.
So I believe they are also out on all platforms. If
Yeah.
they are, Dante, you know, in the comments, let us know if y'all are on all platforms.
Mhm.
But
They
how
are.
to spell it? Put it in there because I can't remember how to spell it.
Drink in
Okay,
partners.
there we go.
He can put it in there, but it's a podcast about drinking at local breweries. He is in the Tennessee area, state of Tennessee, Nashville area, and it's him and some friends of his is talking about all things manly. It's an unedited podcast. And
Well, one of the
drinking.
things that I did like about their podcast is they gave us history of where alcohol came from, and I
Yeah.
really enjoyed that segment.
Yeah, I love it.
Thank you, Marissa.
Yes, thank you. We're excited too. We would love to do this more often. You know, we like doing the lives so that y'all can kind of see how our process really works when we're recording the regular sessions. We be in there cutting up.
Yeah, y'all don't get all of that. I edit all of that out because somebody don't know how to not be saying stuff.
Whatever.
And see, y'all would think I was the bad one.
It's me.
It's really her.
She a cussing Christian.
Yes, Daddy, I'm working on that. If you're in here, I'm working on it.
You know he in here.
I know. Shout out to all the rents out there. Mama Tara,
Aw,
yes.
yes, Mom.
Mama Tara.
Yes.
Mama and Papa Pena.
Yes.
And Aunt Hollywood.
Yeah, Hollywood.
Oh, I got another aunt. I just said, hey, Aunt Ann, I see you in there. And then, are both your parents in here?
They're probably just on one.
Oh.
Either on my mom's Hilda or Harvey.
So, Mama Hilda and Papa Harvey.
That's
There you go right there.
Hey, Daddy.
So interns, y'all go ahead and be dropping topics that y'all want us to discuss. Look, we forgot to say that at the beginning of the hour, but go ahead and drop things in there that have been on y'all's hearts, on y'all's minds, or questions that y'all have for us, because we want to make sure that we go ahead and get that process going as we're talking about all these other things.
And go ahead, like, share, keep commenting the live so we can get more engagement and get more followers, listeners.
So you know something else has been on my mind.
Go ahead.
The young man, the truck driver, that recently got a 110-year sentence after his collision with those individuals, and they passed away. This was another, I think, testament to the change that has been going on recently from 2021. Is that they had, I think, almost 5 million people sign a change.org petition to get his sentence reduced.
And truck drivers boycotted going to Colorado.
They wasn't about to have no food. It was about to be the Oregon Trail.
Yep.
Yes. And I was like, you know, this really shows the power of when people come together.
Yes.
Because they were just fine with giving this young man 110 years. They were going to move on and not do nothing. But, you know, the community, and when I say community, I mean the U.S. community and probably outside at large came together and said, no, this is atrocious. Like, y'all cannot do this young man like that.
Even the families
Yeah.
of the people who lost their lives were like, that's not what we want. We realize it's not his fault. Because when you're going up and down those mountains, like, your brakes will burn out and then it's over.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, the fact that he, not to, you know, make light of death or anything like that, but the fact that he only, you know, ended 4 lives versus all the people that were in front of him.
Yeah.
That's a testament to his driving skills.
And I could have been more because it was only 4 because he did something.
He steered out of the way.
Yeah.
You know, and this is also, you know, another example of how ineffective and how outdated our justice system is. The fact that someone could even get a sentence like that for something of this nature, I mean, it's almost mind-boggling that the law would create a scenario where you could give somebody essentially 2 life sentences, you know.
Shoot, it's really 3 because he a man.
Yeah.
Well, and my dad said, how about the company who made the brakes? The thing about that is, I'm talking about, what about the company that owned the truck?
Right.
Because why was he the one that was on trial? It was their truck. They should have been on trial.
Right. And I agree with you because, sorry guys, because it's the trucking company's job to ensure that they have the resources and the, you know, equipment up to standard for them to be able to do their job.
Right.
Yes, you know, the driver may check and do their, you know, checklist and, you know, double check things, but as far as the actual maintenance of the equipment, that's the trucking company's responsibility.
Yeah.
And the thing is, even if this young man ends up, you know, not serving any time in jail, which I, you know, definitely pray that he does not, now they slandered his name all over the news. So now how is he going to even get another job driving? He's a liability now.
Oh, yeah. That's going to be hard. You know, he's going to have a huge tarnish on his driver's life. I mean, there's just so many things. You know, this is not a good situation any way, shape, or form, but it's just sad.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yes, Dad, they are supposed to service the trucks. Marissa, you said, what kind of podcast is this? Can you tell me your names and who you are? I'm Dr. Jones Hines.
I'm Dr. Rashonda Strickland.
I'm Dr. Michelle Wong.
And so this podcast is about, we really focus on mental health, but we also focus on topics that we can relate to mental health, actually.
But things that impact the Black and brown communities, we try to essentially recycle information that we've learned and make it more palatable for someone who hasn't gone to school and done all that extra stuff that we've done. We want to, make sure that we're reaching our communities where everybody is at, and not necessarily having to go and get 7,000 degrees to understand what we're talking about. So we talk about love, relationships, boundaries, addiction, sex is coming up in February. We talk about fears. We talk about everything. There's not really anything that is off the table.
Yeah.
Unless we don't understand it well enough, because we do want to make sure we're giving you education, information.
Yeah. And we try to give information because everybody in our community can't afford therapy. Now, this is not a replacement for therapy, but we do try to give you all some little tidbits of how to make it through certain things. And we definitely make sure you know that this is not to replace therapy.
Absolutely. I couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah.
Shantae, yes. I'm sure he does have his own trauma and PTSD he's gonna have to work through. I believe she's talking about the truck driver.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Just kind of throwing back to that, when you saw him in the courtroom, when the sentencing came down, you could see the devastation on this young man's face, and just how much of an impact this is going to have on him. Like, he's not going to be the same person.
Right.
Like, the young man that existed when he got into the truck that day is not the man that's there today. That's a completely different individual who will have this scar for the rest of his life.
Yeah, I agree with that.
It's sad. It's really sad.
It really is, man. What else? Other memorable moments.
What about the I can't even remember her name, but the lady who was now sentenced for shooting a young man, saying that she it's not funny, but mistaking her gun.
Oh yeah.
Thinking she had her taser in her hand.
Oh yeah, and she was smiling in her
mugshot after she got sentenced.
Yeah, well, she hadn't been sentenced yet.
Oh,
found
guilty
for conviction. Yeah, and I was like, "Ooh, that's a little disturbing."
Yeah,
to be smiling.
I was watching on the TikToks, and there is this African American woman who analyzes people's words and their body when they are discussing certain topics, and she analyzed this woman, and pretty much her analysis was that even when they had the body cam, that all of her comments and the way she was reacting was totally about herself. I can't believe I did this. I can't believe I did this, because no one administered care to that man. No one. He was shot, the car rolled down, nobody administered care to him or the car he hit.
Right.
And so they cared for her because she was in hysterics. So it to me, it's just still mind-boggling that we're at this same spot of people not knowing how to de-escalate situations.
Yeah. Because what I don't understand is, even if she did mistaken the gun for the taser, whatever, why is the gun the first thing that you gotta grab? Y'all have a whole belt full of other things that you can pull out to protect yourself, to de-escalate a situation. Why not use your words?
Yeah.
Or get in your car and just chase the man. Like, I don't understand why it has to be, I got it in your life at this moment because you can't get away.
And you're not doing what I told you to do.
And it makes me think about, as mental health professionals, we've all worked in higher levels of care. And what I mean by higher levels of care, for those that don't know, here's the Psych 101. This is a mini one. You have residential treatment, so that's where people go and stay overnight for long periods of time, 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, things like that. You have inpatient, which is crisis stabilization, so that can be anywhere from 24 hours up to maybe 14 days. Max would be 30. I mean, that's a really extended stay for an inpatient facility. From there, you have something called partial hospitalization. So you go several hours a day, but you go home at night. And then you have intensive outpatient, which is you go a few hours a day, a couple of days a week, but you still go home at night.
Yeah.
And then you have outpatient, which is your lowest level of therapy, which is, you go maybe once a week, once every other week, that type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So for those that have worked higher levels of care, so residential, inpatient, PHP, IOP, things like that, you have to learn restraint techniques. You have to learn de-escalation techniques. And, we don't have gear. Now, I'm not going to compare and say that, police officers are not in grave danger.
Yeah.
They definitely are. But you have ways to be able to talk to people that are having a mental health crisis, because we do it all the time. Social workers go into people's homes all the time.
We all, when we first got our degrees, we started off going into people's homes.
All the time. And you have to learn to talk this person down that's being physically aggressive, that's psychotic, that's high on PCP or some other, type of upper. And you have to be able to be in a position to remain calm. You don't want to escalate the situation even further and it become dangerous. So I don't know why they don't, police officers and other law enforcement, they're not going to be able to get like full on training like a mental health professional, but why they are not paired and trained by mental health professionals in de-escalation techniques.
Yeah. I remember my first internship was at an inpatient facility, and my first client was someone who was battling psychosis and ended up being a paranoid schizophrenic. This individual literally chased me around the table for 20 minutes before my supervisor came in. This is my first client ever. Did I fight him? No, I thought about it, but I didn't do it because I was like,
we've all thought about it.
I haven't got my license yet. I need to not do that. But you have to de-escalate, and the reality is you can't really de-escalate someone who is in psychosis. You can only make them feel comfortable enough not to hurt you.
Basically. And I think if we helped law enforcement understand that, so like my background is in developmental disabilities, so individuals that have autism, intellectual disabilities, or other kind of chromosomal disorders, things like that. I've been kicked, bitten, pushed, stabbed with items.
I've been spit on,
hair pulled. These are things that come along with working with individuals that are not, they don't think in the same way that the average person thinks. And so you have to really learn how to keep yourself in a certain mode. Now that doesn't mean your adrenaline is not pumping and you aren't, shaking and feeling off some kind of way. Because trust me, anytime you've had to restrain somebody and you let go, all of a sudden you went from being calm to now your body is like, okay, so I'm ready to get going now.
Yeah.
Right, because when people are dealing with mental health, they strong.
Yes.
You ain't never lied.
Yeah.
They are strong people. And so you have to, like Dr. Strickland was saying, your adrenaline is now going, and now you're trying to outmatch their strength because you're having to bear hug them or do a takedown or put them in we used to put them in jackets, but I don't know if they do that anymore.
It's rare.
Those are called mechanical restraints. That's a Psych 102 lesson.
Yeah, I said jackets because that's what they would know.
Or as the kids at the inpatient call it, the booty juice.
Yeah, they get the booty juice. They calm down then.
Yeah.
That booty, that's what they used to like, some of them, that booty juice.
Yes. And all that is just a mixture of different drugs or prescription medications that induce a calming effect on people.
Yeah. So I agree. I don't understand why law enforcement are not taught just the basics of how to de-escalate a situation.
Yeah.
Papa Jones, we do treat police officers and first responders. But the problem is that the people who are coming to us are typically not the issue. It's the ones who don't think they have a problem, or
Yeah.
have a God complex, or they're above the law because they are the law. Those are the ones that we're typically not going to see. And there's just not enough programs going around right now.
Well, then the other thing to add to what Dr. Wall just said, a lot of times by the time they come and see us, they've been in law enforcement for many
So
years,
long. Yeah.
and we have layers upon layers of things to work through.
Yeah.
And partly because of they started off being like how Dr. Wall just described it.
Mm-hmm.
And then some of them, a lot of them have shame. Like even if they do come to us, they don't. The biggest thing is they don't want to park in our parking lot if people know what we do because they're ashamed of it.
Yeah. And they normally do private pay because they don't want it getting back to their precinct. Just like our military that come and see us.
Oh yeah, it's tough. It really is.
Yeah, but when you get them, and if we can catch them, well, we usually do catch them. We keep them.
Oh yeah,
They don't go nowhere.
They don't. No, military
Yep.
and first responders, if they can get in here, they'll be some of your most loyal people.
Yeah.
And we'll advocate for it, mental health.
Yeah, and tell everybody. I'd be like, don't tell nobody else I'm your therapist.
I know. No, but I don't care. This you help me.
Yeah.
But they gonna take your spot, so don't tell nobody else I'm your therapist.
Okay.
Because then we have to make sure they're not even together.
I thought my day was Thursdays at 2. Well, I'm sorry, you told your homeboy. No, just playing. We wouldn't break confidentiality like that.
Yeah, no.
But it does happen.
Yeah.
Another, it happens with airline.
Yes.
Yeah.
People that work at the airline, y'all would be quite surprised the number of individuals that come to therapy that work for airlines.
I got about 10.
I probably have about 6.
And I think I have
And they
maybe
all
about
work
4 or 5.
together.
I was gonna say
They all know each
other.
other. So we have to be very strategic on how we make these
Schedule them.
appointments.
Yes.
Mhm. Monday,
And so-
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Yeah.
So that's a good way to segue into what do y'all think about these people attacking flight attendants on the airlines or airplanes?
I think, frustrations are bubbling over.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people, while we understand what's going on with COVID, I think a lot of people are just like, look, I'm over it. I'm tired. I'm ready to get back to quote unquote a normal life.
It's not coming back.
It ain't.
It's over.
It ain't. 2019 and before don't exist no more.
Man.
It's just a memory. But I think a lot of people are frustrated and, like we said a little bit earlier, people just not taking no mess anymore. And it doesn't matter what it is or who it is.
Right.
So if I even think that you've been disrespectful to me, people are ready to just blow.
Yeah.
It ain't right though.
Yeah, but I'm just trying to understand. Like, there have been so many frustrating things in the world, and out of all places, you think you get ready to act a fool on the plane?
Cause where you going?
Right.
Damn.
Cause y'all saw that one where they had taped that man to the chair. They
That
had
was on
duct-
American.
Was it? Oh yeah, they
Was
had
it
like
American or Delta?
I can't remember which one it was, but they had like duct taped him to the chair. I was like, ooh, they were serious. They said you ain't going nowhere.
Yeah.
I saw a video yesterday where this man kept blocking. I don't know if he was a flight attendant or if he was like air traffic help, whatever. And the air traffic person kept trying to move. He did this 4 times. He walked around and the man came up to him the last time. He just laid him out on the floor.
Oh wow.
And he just waited till his supervisor came. I was like, well, I mean, as much as in you is.
Man, it's like people not giving 2 craps about nothing. Yes.
No. And it's like, what I don't understand is we all know what the FAA rules are. Like, we all know this. We all know that, right?
Yes.
We all know that.
Yeah.
Yes.
We know what those are. You know what I'm saying? So, like, you know what the rules are. You know that you have to do, there is no choice. You have to do what the flight attendants say.
Right.
If they say, sit down in your seat, if they say, get up and get off the plane,
Buckle your seatbelt.
all that. Like,
It's just a
why is
ride
this even
somewhere. It ain't even that serious. You flying commercial like you going to Dubai and you got your seat recline or something. Like, chill out. and get off the plane. I don't understand.
Yeah.
No, I don't either. Again, I think people are just lit fuses, and it doesn't take a lot. You know, the fuses have gotten shorter and shorter, and they're just lit fuses ready to blow.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
It tells you, and speaking specifically about American culture, it tells you how inept Americans are, how much we are incapable of diffusing things and emotionally regulating ourselves. We're walking around like toddlers.
Yes.
Yeah, we just have temper tantrums and mantrums whenever we want.
I would like to have one.
With a serious face.
I would. Yes, in all seriousness, and I'm not even lying or joking. Please, I wish I could zoom in right now so that you could see my face in the seriousness. Because being a therapist, like, we always have to be on.
Yeah.
You know, we're always problem solving. We're always being emotionally available, emotionally in tuned with the people around us. Because even though we do it in session, you still do it a lot in your personal life.
Yeah.
So yes, I would love to like go to an anger room and just let loose. And just go buck wild in there and just break a bunch of stuff.
I'm gonna have to go with people that's a therapist, because I think if I went with family, they'd be like, "Oh, we need to hospitalize." Because I'm so
you remember
calm
that
all
thing
the
you was
time.
talking about on the podcast? Do you need to go to one of those?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
hilarious.
But I do think that we're at a point where people need a release of
Yeah.
pressure, and they don't know how to adequately get that release. So it's coming out in these really unhealthy ways that have really potentially negative consequences. Aw, thank you, Uncle. So other things. What else has been popping in 21?
Man, I think I have to. One of my other topics was Meagan Good and her husband. They're divorcing. Like, that makes me sad.
Ooh, I was just reading a comment from Miss Shalon over here.
My sister.
What'd she say?
I think part of it is due to a previous orange person that allowed all kind of political incorrect behavior to be displayed. I'm just saying. I concur.
We're not going to disagree.
Yeah.
I mean, so, excuse my language to all the family members watching, but shit rolls downhill. You know, so if the top is being ineffective and the top is showing uncouth behavior, then yeah, the people that follow you are going to believe that that is appropriate and acceptable and encouraged. Because why wouldn't they? If you're showing that this is the way to behave.
Well, and I think certain cultures feel like now we are defending ourselves and they're losing control and losing power, and they don't know what to do with that.
I would agree with that too.
I'm not gonna say nothing because I can't form anything that's appropriate in my head.
Y'all know we're gonna have to get off this topic because y'all know I'm gonna go in a minute.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be a year in a few days.
I'm telling you,
Yes.
21, immediately, we turned in our membership card day 6. And we was like, oh, this year we just gonna repeat 2020 and make it better. And when I say better, I mean
Worse.
crazier.
You know, when I saw that, I said, I know these white people are not doing what this is not the Boston Tea Party.
Ooh, are we gonna be in the history books, y'all?
Yes, horribly. Everybody already laughing in America.
Mm.
And it's like, how you gonna overthrow a government that already caters to you?
Yeah.
I'm confused. What were you not getting? Like, you was mad because Biden was in office. Okay, cool. A lot of us have been mad for many years that people were in office.
Yeah.
But you don't go storm the Capitol like nothing was significantly bad going on.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Well,
nothing
see,
was achieved by doing that.
nothing.
No, y'all. A lot of y'all is going to prison. Y'all going to prison.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's so ridiculous. Like because
You about to lose your job.
hey, you about to lose your job. I wish I could stand up and dance. But because the thing about it is, we wouldn't have never done that. First of all, because we don't do stuff like that.
It's because we got home training.
And we learned a different way. We have decades upon decades upon decades of ways to boycott, riot, and
Protest.
And not
Protest.
kill people.
Yeah.
Right. Although they say we so violent. No.
Mhm.
That's
That's
a
not us.
projection.
Yes, that's not us.
Yeah, it was sad because to me it's like
Yeah.
y'all said X, Y, and Z, and then when you're met with opposition from the people that you claim to back, you then unalive them. I don't
Right.
understand that. And
Mhm.
for that many people to lose their lives before and after the insurrection is horrible. Now, I don't know if some of the people who unalived themselves was because they were in on it or because of the trauma of the event. I don't care about that. It's just the fact that many people collectively got together underground, air quotes, underground,
Mm.
and stormed the Capitol, where in our country it does not matter. You could have
Yeah.
unalived everybody in that building. Our country would have still run.
Yeah.
Would have still run with the current administration that's in there right now.
And we still would have had to have a different president.
Yeah.
Right.
It just would have been Kamala.
Right.
Yes. Well, we've talked before about cognitive dissonance, like how you have two competing ideas that try to exist in the same space. And, while in one headspace they think that they're being, patriotic and defenders of, their leader, I guess. And on the other hand, they think they're great law-abiding citizens. It's hard to imagine yourself being able to live that way. And I was just looking at one of the comments, and it was talking about privilege, and when you've been afforded a certain privilege, you get to think a certain type of way, and you don't see how other people suffering is even legitimate.
Yeah.
Because you can't even imagine that that's the truth.
I think it's not until someone that you're close to goes through something like that that particular population understands. Like a person that pops up in my head is Philando Castile. When he was gunned down, there was an uproar because of how important he was to the community and how loving and caring he was. And I'm sorry, I shouldn't have to be a hashtag for y'all to understand y'all didn't need to do that.
Yeah.
Well, and I think the other thing for me is that they don't just hate us; they hate themselves too.
Clearly.
Because the people in Congress ain't black.
No, it's very few.
Right.
It's a little sprinkle in there.
It's a little bit, but they were going after their own kind.
Yeah.
Division works. Outrage is a currency. Just the way that there's social currency now, outrage is a currency. You can get clicks, you can get paid based on outrage.
Yeah.
So I think that's what was used. It's an unfortunate way to use that currency, but it works for what it works for.
Yeah, because anytime somebody will stand there and record a unaliving situation or a fight or some sort of trauma, and they'll stand there and record it and not do anything about it. What? So you just gonna do that and get likes and money, and this person is about to lose their life?
Mm-hmm. This makes me just kind of this whole situation. It makes me really wonder about the impact social media has had on that, because information spreads so quickly, and it's hard to really grasp information now because there's so many different hands that information can be touched by versus 20-25 years ago you didn't have as many outlets to release that type of information. Would things still have progressed the way that they did? If news outlets were not built on sensationalism like they are now, and they were, like when 24-hour news networks first started, and it was really just merely about reporting the news versus I got to get my Nielsen ratings up, or I got to get my clicks up, or we got to get more sponsors or more ads or whatnot, and it was really
about the money.
Yeah. It makes me wonder if the way his presidency was and ended, would it have been the same?
I don't think we would be in this state of anger.
No. I mean,
Because
he
we've
set
had-
us back.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we were not far in the first place, but he set us back.
He just brought out stuff that was already in them.
Yeah, just bubbling.
Yeah.
But see, the thing about it is, a lot of people didn't necessarily like Bush either. But this didn't come out of Bush presidency.
Either. Bush.
Right.
Yeah. Bush. So one of the comments is a question about why do people feel the need to walk around with guns. If I had to give my really short, sweet to the point answer, I think it's a misinterpretation of the Second Amendment. That's one. About the right to bear arms and what the forefathers really meant by that. I think
Because it's not what we do.
yes, I think there's been a bastardization of what the Second Amendment really means. And then you have that you can't take our guns. So when people feel like something is being taken away from them, they're going to fight for it even harder. It's that whole push-pull thing. So the second I try to pull something out of your hands, the opposite reaction is going to happen. So you're going to pull back in the opposite direction. So if I say that we're going to get rid of guns, then of course everyone's going to want to hoard theirs. They're going to want to amass more of them. And then it becomes a rebellious thing of, well, you can't tell me what to do. I'm an American. And this seems to be a very American sentiment. That, you can't tell me what to do. I'm my own person. I have my rights. That kind of thing. So then you just get rebellious people.
Yeah. And people are not communitaristic. Like, they are more about self, more about individuals. So it's not about, okay, how is this functioning for the whole? Now, if everybody was doing it the right way and taking care of things, and they just had it for protection, or if you hunt or whatever the situation is, it'd be a totally different situation. But it's not. And I'm saying as someone who carries. I ain't got no problem carrying, but I'm also not out here brandishing my weapon and trying to hurt people. And I'm 5'2", and I gotta protect myself as a woman. That's why I carry. But nobody sees that weapon but me.
Right.
And I think it depends on the person you ask that question as well. Because if you ask a person of color, especially now, it's about protection. And then I think it's the difference between carrying a 9, a rifle, a AKA. I mean, yeah, an AK. So,
That's something else.
Carry
right,
an AK.
right? No, not an AKA, AK. But, it's a difference between what you're carrying and why you're carrying it. Because I think all of us would have a different reason as to why we want to carry, if you are a person who want to carry. And I think it's a difference in between what you're carrying.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because if you crossing state lines to go to a protest and shoot people, that's a different situation. But let's not go down that path.
Yeah,
because I'm gonna get angry all over
deep
again.
dive right there. Man, guys, we getting there. We was that out.
You know, something that's been on my mind this year is the Blaxit, and that is the mass exodus of Black and brown people leaving America and going to foreign countries and living better quality of life.
Ooh,
I wish
I've
I
heard
could
a lot
go.
of people about I've heard a lot of people going to Ghana. Mexico is another one that I've heard is very popular.
Sweden.
With that universal health care.
Man,
Free college.
I promise if I could convince my mama, my daddy, my brothers, my husband, my bestie, I would be out of here.
Deuces.
I can't even stop. Cause I'm about to get mad.
Well, divestment, is not necessarily a bad thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to say it's a great thing, but I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing. I would definitely want to keep my American citizenship. I would not want to give that up. Because of course there are going to be certain privileges that come along with having American citizenship, and it'd be dumb for me to deny that. But it would be nice to be able to flow between a place and whenever, and not feel so much of the pressures that come along with being in American culture.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing for me is to be able to experience that level of safety that I hear them describe. I was listening to someone describe their plan and how they got where they were, and I think they were in Ireland, and she was black, married to an Irishman, and she said, yes, there are some prejudice here, but it's nowhere near on the same level of what I experienced. I think she was from New York, and New York is pretty diverse, and it's up north, but racism and prejudice is everywhere. It doesn't matter what part of our country you are in, because that's what it's founded on. The country is founded on, not the land, but the country. And so she was just describing that, and she had been complaining about it, and her husband finally was like, well, I just got offered a job to go back to New York, and she had a panic attack. I was like, I don't want to go.
Oh, wow.
She was like, I don't want to go back. I just miss certain things about it. But she said the amount of terror that ran through her body about having to re-educate her children on what to do, what not to do.
Yeah.
She said, I can't do that to my babies.
Yeah, I don't blame her.
Yeah, it is different living overseas. It's been a very long time since I've lived overseas, but I spent a good chunk of my childhood living overseas, and it is different.
It's more easygoing.
Yeah, it's an experience that you really can't, unless you have lived in America and lived overseas. It's an experience that you really can't put words on, on how differently you're seen and treated, being an American in a foreign country and living in a foreign country. When you live there and you're not a tourist, you get treated really differently. It's a little bit more of a welcoming scenario. And let me preface this by saying I don't know if that's because I was part of a military family, so there's a different sentiment that comes along with being part of a military family. But there is a much more welcoming vibe.
I mean, that was my experience too. I did study abroad, and I went to South America. I went to Montevideo, Uruguay, Buenos Aires, Argentina, and Iguazu, and that's in Brazil. And there was not one spot that we went that was not welcoming. Now, people were doing, we were with some other people, and they were doing some stupid stuff, and they got in trouble. But that was them. That wasn't me. That wasn't the chocolates of the group. They were like, ooh, criolla. And they were saying, they were like, ooh, Jamaica. I mean, they were like, we know where y'all are from.
Yeah.
We want to talk to you. I've never experienced that. And I was like, oh, okay, you like black women. Okay, but I don't want you. But, it was just like they welcome you. People was, wanting to cook for us. And I was like, are you my people? It just somewhat you don't get that here.
Yeah.
No.
Unless it's people that your family or friends.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's an experience that ideally everybody should have. Of course, that's not realistic, but I do think it's an experience that a lot of people should have. Either at a minimum, visiting another country. And I think also what you get to see is we all know how big the United States really is, but you don't truly really know how big the U.S. is until you go overseas and everything is smashed up together.
Yeah.
You can get from France to England to Spain, all of these places within a couple of hours of each other, versus just trying to get from,
the ends of Texas.
I was going to say Virginia to California is going to take you 3 days. 3, 4
it
days.
seemed like to get out of Texas, it take 2 days.
Well, it does if you're going from El Paso to Shreveport. So, you get to see how you learn a lot about why most Americans only speak English and we don't speak multiple languages, because, our country is so big and there's no other languages spoken, for the most part, spoken around us, versus overseas. There's so many tight countries around each other. They all kind of have to learn to speak at least the main ones.
And they're more about education.
That is true.
But I don't know, if you don't go outside of the U.S. and see that experience, it's kind of hard to wrap your head around that.
Yeah. Dante said Canada. Dante, I'm going to have to pass on that because Canada is very similar to America.
Yeah, it's just a mini U.S.
They got the same atrocious history that we got.
The only difference is they say a boot and oops. Yeah. But I get it. I can understand why people are making that change. It kind of goes back to what we were saying a little bit earlier about people being tired.
Yeah.
And when you're tired and you're looking for a change, your change is either going to come in an explosive way, an implosive way, or through some sort of active behavioral change.
Exaggerated change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So y'all, I just think because this is a hot topic, we should at least say something about Meagan and her husband.
Oh, I'm sad about it.
Culture.
Yes.
Not because people can't do what they want to do, but just what they were putting out, you thought it was going to be different. They've put out the book The Wait, and very pro-relationship, and it's kind of like, dang, another one bites the dust.
Yeah.
But I wonder why so many people thought that they would make it just because they did wait.
My thought process was not that they waited, it was more so that they appeared to be putting the effort forward to make their relationship as healthy as possible. And so I was like, dang, what happened if y'all were following all these things that y'all wrote about? It's like, what happened?
I was reading the comment. I'm sorry.
Oh yes, the Stallion too, but not that Meagan. Meagan
Yes.
Good,
Yeah.
the actress.
But she got a lot going on too. But I think people want something to aspire to. They want, especially us as Black people. We are the younger generation. We're really trying to figure out love and choosing a partner for different reasons than maybe some of our parents, grandparents, great grandparents chose partners.
Yeah.
So we have these things that we want to aspire to, and when we see somebody that seems to fit that mold, it's like you want to preserve it and put it on a pedestal, because it's like, okay, somebody's finally figured it out.
And people want an example. They want the cheat codes, and they had an example of some cheat codes, and it's just, I don't think anybody in their right mind is like, man, we were wishing that they fell apart,
Jackson?
Please no.
No, not Derek Jackson, because he is a misogynist and other things.
So to add on, I do agree with what you ladies are saying, but to add on to that, I think what people don't realize is that being a first lady is difficult. Like, you have to literally change your whole life. And I mean, there were segments, listening to Meagan speak about how she had to change things about her, and he had to change things about him as well, because he had to accept, I guess maybe some of the roles that she may have been offered, and she said that he was her cheerleader basically. But she also had to be mindful of the fact that she is a first lady, so there are certain images that's not appropriate based on Christianity. It's not appropriate, or I think they're Seventh-day Adventists, based on their spiritual walk. And I don't. So I think the thing for me is that I can understand that they probably did love each other, but having to be and walk in the shoes of a first lady, if you've never done that before, never talked to anybody that did that before, like, that is a difficult position to be in, and it is freeing when you get out of it.
I'm not gonna tell her business, but my sister is a first lady, and so I have seen the effects that it can take when the people that you are ministering to are not as supportive or kind as they should be to your family or to the minister. And so, I do think she had a lot of adversary in that walk, in being in that marriage, and I think she had to become someone that she wasn't, and so I don't think that was going to be sustainable.
Because I think people have to be willing to be groomed to be a first lady, just like you have to be willing to be groomed to be in any ministry. You have to be willing to be groomed to be a first lady, and not that she wasn't. I'm not saying she wasn't, but sometimes it can just be too much.
Can we say trained?
I don't care what you say. It don't matter.
It was making me.
Oh, I got you. Yes. Trained. I got you. I hear you, Dr. Wall.
I can see that.
Yeah.
And I also agree with some of the comments on about perfectionism and appearing perfect.
The celibacy.
Excuse me. Yes, in portraying that image, you do have to be extremely careful, because that fall on the way down is going to be long and hard when you hit the ground. So you do have to still present realness and flaws, so that people don't begin to expect perfection all the way through. Because as much as people love to build you up, they definitely love to see you fall as well.
Yeah.
But I wonder if they weren't in the ministry, if it would have been such a hard fall. Even if, like, they were still celebrities, and they were Christians, and they still waited till they got married, they weren't in the ministry. I wonder if it still would have been a hard fall.
Yeah, that's a good question.
I honestly don't know. I mean, because them getting together, they got beat up. It's like they was just, getting their stride.
I know.
You know what I mean? Like, all
such a cute couple.
They were just the cutest.
Yeah. I really do hope that, maybe one day down the line they can figure it out, reconcile, and do their thing. Because I really do hate to hear that they're getting a divorce. Because they did appear to be really happy.
Yeah. That's sad.
My sister said, I was never groomed to be first lady, nor did I seek training. Slight correction, I was never not myself. I just never let my real gangster out.
I understand.
From my sister.
I respect that too.
Yeah, I understand.
And we appreciate you not letting your gangster out, because I think that would have been detrimental to the Lord's work. Okay?
Yeah. If it is a difficult life, it's not one for me, man.
Yeah, I know for a while I was only attracting pastors, preachers, chaplains, ministers. God, whatever this is on me, take that off. I don't want to be a first lady. That's not my life.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want that either. First of all, the young men that I know who are in ministry, I would not want to be their wife. Because I'm like, your walk and your talk ain't the same. Yeah, I ain't got time for that.
Man. Okay. Oh man, we've been talking a long time. God, we just having a good old time.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Jones over here was reminding me of the time.
And we don't even have a quote for y'all.
Oh, we don't.
I can't help you with that. But was there anything else that's been on y'all's mind or that y'all had questions about? Because we haven't had any questions this go around. We want to make sure that if any of our interns do have questions or even topics that y'all want us to discuss in the new year, that we get that information as well.
Yes.
Yes.
To I do not want to butcher your name.
Park.
And I apologize about that. Agreed. But just to prepare you guys, so next month's movie is going to be Girls Trip. So if it's been a little while since you've seen it, go ahead and pull your popcorn out since y'all gonna be off work Friday and Saturday and catch up on Girls Trip, so y'all know what we talking about in there.
And we will be discussing some controversial things like the pick me, aka the simp in men terms.
Yes.
Talking about, do women really know what they want? Which is going to be interesting.
Boundaries, ultimatums, and rules.
Yeah, knowing the difference between those things. So that's coming up for January. And February. February. It's the time in February. We're going to be talking about kinks. We're going to be talking about sensuality.
And sexuality.
Okay.
We're also going to be talking about the difference between performance-based sex versus pleasure-based sex. And the movie is 50 Shades of Grey, the trilogy.
All three of them. So for those folk with sensitive ears,
those might not be the sessions y'all want to listen to.
Still play it and just turn the volume down.
Because we
want
still
to
need
listen.
We still need that in this zone. We still need the support, but we understand if y'all ears is a little sensitive.
Really, Dante? Oh yeah, I've been waiting for this. Oh really?
I have too, Dante. Again, can somebody please that knows how to video it zoom in on my face real quick? So I'm excited.
Hilarious. And also, I think it's in the month of April. That will be our deep dive into church and discussing church hurt, church abuse, the evolution of the Black church, things of that nature. And we're going to be, the movie is the Clark sisters biopic.
Okay. Ooh, that's an interesting question.
No.
No.
And
Miss Adna.
So let me explain why I say no. Because I remember when I was an intern, I still had things that I needed to learn about the field in itself, let alone trying to open up a practice and learn that stuff. I would have been a horrible therapist because I'm trying to do too many things at one time. I think that as an intern, we need to focus on not doing more damage.
Clinical skills. I can guarantee you the amount of problems are about to arise, and there's going to be a lot of people with no licenses.
Probably.
Yes. I'm sorry, y'all. So the question is, do you believe that an LPCA are ready to open their own practice? And an LPCA is a licensed professional counselor associate. They used to be called interns, but associate, which is someone who's not fully licensed yet.
Yeah. And just to kind of piggyback on that whole question, I think the whole supervision process needs to be overhauled completely. I would say that associates, their supervisor needs to be on site.
Yes.
Because now, yes, is it true that you can have business sense and know business practices outside of being a therapist? Absolutely. There are probably LPCAs that have owned other businesses that have nothing to do with mental health. but trying to do both of those things simultaneously while you're really getting your feet wet in the field, I agree with Dr. Jones. It's just a lot to take on at one time.
And you got to be up to code. Do you know that you need to have a treatment plan written by a certain amount of time? Do you know that you have to have your notes completed by a certain amount of time? Do you know that state board will come in and tear your whole business up?
And do you understand what it means when someone is having fleeting suicidal thoughts, made an attempt, and having thoughts now, having had thoughts a year ago? Like, do you know what steps you need to make and when you need to make sure someone is hospitalized?
And are you going to be solo? You know, are you going to be solo, or are you going to be in a group? Because now if you try to do group practice, or be a group practice owner, like there's a whole nother level of stuff that you have to deal with versus you being a solo practitioner. So, you know, my preference would be that people would get yourself more seasoned first and then go out on your own.
And another part of that is, what about your own safety?
Yeah.
Because you're going to be lying. I'm about to get real morbid. You're going to be lying in a pool of your own blood because somebody done unalived you and you weren't able to fight back.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Because you don't know the rules to protect yourself, that you're supposed to sit near the door so that it's an easy access way for you to get out.
Yeah.
So that and you don't even really know what population you want to see.
No.
You don't know what populations are dangerous. You don't know necessarily when. If you see a severe client, like all of us have been in sessions with clients that have severe diagnosis. When you don't know what's gonna make them tick, you don't know how to de-escalate. If you did make them tick, and if they're hallucinating, you ain't gotta do nothing. You can just be sitting there looking at the wall, and they think that you're doing something to them. Do you know how to de-escalate that situation?
I can't tell
There's
you
a
how
safety that comes with it.
I can't tell y'all how many times since 2016 when this practice opened where I done heard some screaming and I've told my client, can you hold on 1 second? Let me go check and make sure Dr. Strickland is okay, or let me go and make sure Dr. Jones is okay. At the time it was Dr. Jones Hines now. And you go and make sure that people are okay. You can't do that by yourself. And you may not have the wherewithal to be like, let me go check. Oh, that's just normal. They're screaming. And then I'm going to be like, because I am an LPC supervisor. Why you let me climb punky like that? Like, it's so many things with that.
Yeah.
Because like now, even in our practice, we have a panic button. Because if something happens and our front desk person has to push the panic button for the police to come, he knows what to do.
I mean, I have a panic button too, but it's not the same.
Hers go bang bang.
Right. but
pow pow.
Right. You know, but it's just certain things. I just don't think that associates, it's just safe. A lot of it is about safety.
Yeah. Because it takes time to get your bearings as a clinician.
Yeah.
Even if you've done mental health adjacent work, when it comes to doing outpatient, it takes time to get your bearings. A lot of associate gets their hours through group, working in, a hospital setting, and when they try to drop down to outpatient, they're really not sure how to function in an outpatient setting. How long do you keep your client in therapy? When do you discharge? When do you step down from weekly to bi-weekly? So there's a lot that goes on more than just knowing how to run a business. So yes, I think an LPC associate can work a business, but when it comes to the complexity of all of it that goes into specifically a mental health business, I don't know if they're quite ready for that.
Yeah.
And how are they going to be successful? They can't even get on insurance panels. I mean,
because a lot of people want to be private pay and they're more focused on money than actually helping the client and doing no harm.
That too. But that's another topic for another day.
Yes, we can keep going on
We
that.
can go on and on and on because we're mental health professionals, so we know the ins, outs, ups, downs, and
we
rounds.
own a group practice, so
trust. We could really go all day about it. Are there any other questions or topics or anything that y'all want us to address? Any movies that y'all want us to break down? Now, we have our list, but we're always interested in getting feedback from you guys on what may be of interest. And we still have the ones from the last live.
We're incorporating them slowly.
Yeah. since we only do one movie a month, so it's going to take us a minute to get through all of them.
And even if y'all think of a topic or a movie after we end our live, just put it in the comments and we'll see it.
Yeah. But I'm excited. I feel good about today. This was good.
Now y'all see we not turned sideways.
And we not sweating like crazy. Because I was like, holy.
Waiting to exhale.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, that is March?
I think that's March.
Waiting to exhale?
Mhm.
I believe that's March.
So it's on the docket. We do have a comment from our Instagram fam. He states, I do think it's funny we hold the first lady in such high regard, but let the preacher do whatever, whenever.
Ain't that the truth? It's a lot of them out there.
That
Yes.
part.
Dipping and dabbing.
Yes.
So speaking of waiting to exhale, so something we're gonna do a little bit of a different movie breakdown with Waiting to Exhale because it has such a fantastic soundtrack that we're gonna also be incorporating the soundtrack of Waiting to Exhale into the movie breakdown because there are a lot of songs that really tie to specific scenes in the movie. So we'll be doing a little bit of a kind of mixture there. So once that M&B comes out, y'all let us know how you liked it. And if there are other movies that have really good soundtracks like Menace to Society, things like that, maybe we could start doing a little bit of a mix for those types of movies.
Yep.
Hey, Francis.
Hey, Auntie. She said, I'm here. Well, it doesn't look like we have anything coming through. But y'all know there's a little bit of a delay for us.
Oh yeah.
So y'all could have wrote something 2-3 minutes ago and we may not even see it.
Well, I have a question for y'all.
Okay. Us or the interns?
Y'all too.
Oh, okay.
So tell me what. Hey, bestie. Tell me what is your greatest takeaway from 2021, and tell me what are you looking forward to in 2022.
My show always got to hit us with the
Y'all should be used to
the
this by
deep
now.
dives into the brain. My biggest takeaway from 2021 is to really start focusing on what brings me joy. And not being afraid. I think that's my biggest takeaway from this year is that it's okay to walk in fear.
Yeah, come on.
And what I look forward to in 22 would be walking that realization.
Okay.
I think my biggest takeaway is it's okay to be me, and that's with my perfections, my imperfections, my flaws. It's okay, and I have learned to accept them and not allow them to make me as anxious as they used to. And I think the other thing is to accept change. As y'all know, my aunt passed away, so her passing has opened my eyes to just how quickly things can be taken away from you. And so to just kind of enjoy the things that mean a lot to you. That is one of the later things that I took. And then what I'm looking forward to next year, one is continuing to love and be loved by my husband. Continue to embrace the love that I have from friends, and just continue to embrace love because it's not always here from from one person.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How about you, Dr. Wall?
Well, and y'all can't see this because on my laptop it's my screensaver. But I have a quote that I put on my laptop and my phone that says, my path is on. Let me get my thoughts together. My path is mine to walk. And so for me, someone who struggles at times with feelings of abandonment and not being loved in the way that I love, I had to come to a realization, especially with my cancer walk, that this is for me. And that it's okay for me to be sad if certain people aren't on that path, on that journey with me. It's okay to be angry if certain people aren't on that path with me, but it is mine to walk, and I need to do it at a standard of integrity that I can be happy with. And so that's been my biggest takeaway. And so what I'm looking forward to in 2022 is just all the blessings, because I feel like 2022 is really going to be the forward momentum for many of the businesses that I'm a part of. It's going to be the coming of that kind of thing, that kind of energy. I feel is what is coming my way, as well as many people's way that I love and know. And depending on if they get on the boat or the train or whatever the medium is, that'll determine, what they get.
Yes. I would like to heavily concur with Jay. Is that McNary?
McNary.
Okay, I couldn't quite read the last name. I would like to heavily concur with Jay on 2022. Yeah, I definitely can see that for myself.
Yeah.
Well, all of the statements
Yeah,
have been great,
right.
but
I'm gonna
that
go
one
back
kind of
up and
resonated
read
with
them.
me.
So our family, our interns can also get in. Trish said she survived it. That's what happened in 2021.
We did.
Yes.
We almost made it. We got 2 days left.
Oh God.
Yeah. And then Francis said, remembering to breathe. I'm looking forward to more growth. Papa Felipe said, serious distrust in government in 2021. Learn to live with COVID safely in 2022.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Mama Wanda said how much family means to me, taking family vacations.
Hey, gang, Mom, I'm ready.
I want to go. Trish said made adjustments, will learn to further adjust and thrive. Life, but I'm responsible for what I do. I've learned how to unplug, but I need to plug back in more often. I will smooth go away.
Hey, for us dismissive adult attachment styles out there, I see you.
Have to find balance and explore places, spaces that, hold on, it's long. Let me hold on.
That I tend to seal off.
Thank you. Because my laptop is over here acting funny. Go on, take it away.
Yeah, because hers is freezing.
Okay. Ebony, be open to change and healing is an ongoing process. Annette, revision in 2022 and walk unapologetically. I almost couldn't say the word. Jay McNary, 2021 takeaway, to be unapologetically myself and that I am responsible for my happiness. 22, to get out of my own way and to trust yourself in decisions I make without overthinking.
Amen.
Yes.
And then Ebony, looking forward to the healing journey in 22.
Yes, I know we all felt this in 2019, and we thought 2020 was going to be the year of vision,
Yes.
right?
It was. We saw a lot. We just didn't clarify what type of vision we wanted.
Yeah, and we just was believing that 2020 was going to be fantastic, but I'm not going to lie. I feel like 2022, I think people are, like I said a little bit earlier, at the cliff's edge, and something's going to change. Now, whether that change is going to come and it's going to be something great, or that change is going to come and it's going to be something scary, but I think we're at the edge, and a change going to come.
Come on, Sam Cooke.
Hopping back over to IG, Kiana states, "This is my first live. However, I will be binge listening to the past podcasts. If you guys have not already, a topic I would like to touch base on is divorce, and we have talked about that briefly, but we can definitely go into more depth.
For sure.
And she said possibly coping with the divorce, and I guess finding yourself again during the trial. So we do have, I cannot think of what the title of that one is. Do y'all remember? It's somewhere around the one that says Fork in the Road, but I can't remember all of them. So it's a month talking about infidelity, divorce, staying going, and so I can't remember the specific number, but we do have that topic. Thiesman replied and said, "Totally agree. Even coping with long-term relationships that didn't make it to the goal of marriage, the presence of an individual who is no longer there is still quite haunting." And we did just do a session on long-distance relationships. So that can talk more about that, not necessarily the long-term part, but, you know, the steps that you got to take to make it work.
I wanted to give you the session numbers. So for Miss Kiana, so if you go back and look at session numbers 41, 42, and 43, and then some of 44, because that's the movie, that will be the ones that kind of deal with some of that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. And then if you follow those next ones up, it talks about rebuilding and self-acceptance and things like that. So we tried to do a flow of, if you're dealing with heavy relationship issues, how you can also heal afterwards.
Yes. And then Kiana agreed with Thiesman. Definitely, it's a journey. And then Thiesman replied that his takeaways are to live in the moment. 2021 has flown by, and I can barely remember any highlights. Looking forward to deeper friendships, relationships, and building a better foundation for a happier me.
Absolutely.
Yes. Come on, IG crew.
Yeah, y'all came through.
Yeah,
we are so excited. Thank you, everybody, for joining us this evening and staying for an extended session
we're
today.
overtime.
Well, they did say that they wanted longer this broad last time, so I guess we inadvertently, accidentally did it.
Okay.
Thank you. Y'all been hanging tough with us this evening, and we really appreciate it, and we look forward to all of the things to come in 2022. We are looking to get a little bit more edgy with some of the topic discussions. You know, we of course will be appropriate, but we want to we want to broaden within the scopes of mental health. You know, so one thing we've not wanted to do is just talk about anxiety or just talk about depression.
Right.
We wanted to talk about real world things that happen within mental health. So we're looking to really expand upon that idea this year. So we hope you guys will be along the ride with us for that.
And since we forgot to look up the quote, I'm just going to give a quote off the top of my head. Today, don't worry too much about yesterday because you won't have time for tomorrow.
All right. Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year.
We love y'all and thank you for all the support.
And like, share, and continue to comment.
And by the way, everybody on Facebook, make sure y'all go and subscribe to our YouTube. Watch the videos on YouTube. Also go on IG. We trying to grow the brand. We got a lot of stuff coming out.
Some big changes coming up.
We got a possible name change coming up.
And logo change. It's gonna be some
colors.
big things.
So you know, it's lovely things happening, and we want y'all to be a part of it on all the platforms. So please continue to support us.
Like, love, share.
Yes. And to answer the previous question about the podcast being recorded for the latecomers, the audio for this session will be uploaded like all other sessions will be. We will also upload this live to YouTube later as well. And then you can always catch it on Facebook. Once we end the live, it will automatically be on the page. And then we'll probably chop it up a little bit to go on Instagram. Thank you guys. Happy New Year. Be safe. Drink responsibly if you're gonna be going out.
And bring in the New Year
Wear
bid.
your mask.
Word.
Wear your mask. It is very important to wear your mask.
Lord have mercy.
Stay safe, y'all.
Bye.
Must be this volume control.
So, okay, interns, process your notes. Be sure to catch us next session and find us on all major platforms at the RePsychled Podcast.
If you're a new intern, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share.
Thanks for listening. And remember, we are shifting and reshaping our psyche through healing conversations and connections, one discussion at a time.